Off-duty cop fatally shoots a black man that was trying to help him. Trying to help. Philadelphia, family of Robert Jones T., who was shot and killed by an off-duty homicide detective last fall, now suing. They're suing the city and several police officers, claiming the shooting was unjustified and that the detective and his police colleagues have conspired to cover it up. The detective was cleared of wrongdoing in July by the district attorney's office, which offered no public explanation for its decision. Oh, we worked for you. Whatever happened to that? Now it's do what we want, protect the cops who are supposed to protect and serve the public, but we don't even have to explain ourselves, and we're not going to. Here comes another one. 11:30 p.m., October 3rd, Robert Jones, age 54, pulled up behind Philadelphia Police Detective Christopher Sweeney, who stopped his car in the turn lane in a residential area of North Philadelphia. That's according to the lawsuit filed August 27th in the Philadelphia County Court of Common Pleas, obtained by Atlanta Black Star. Sweeney, a 14-year veteran of the police department, who is white, off duty, driving his personal vehicle, black Subaru, but was armed with his service gun, the complaint says. Jones was trained to provide roadside assistance, was wearing a bright yellow reflective vest. His brother, Michael Jones, who filed the lawsuit on behalf of the family, argues that Jones believed the vehicle in front of him was disabled, got out of his car and approached the driver, whom he believed to be stranded. This good man wanted to offer assistance. Jones was not armed, did not present any physical threat to Sweeney, according to the complaint. Before he could respond to Jones, the officer shot him at point blank range through the window, incapacitating him. Then Sweeney continued firing at Jones, striking him multiple times throughout his body. Jones was rushed to the hospital. He died soon thereafter. Sweeney's actions amounted to a violent, unprovoked assault and battery of Jones and an unjustified and illegal use of force, the complaint contends. Remember what I told you in the beginning. Sweeney, no wrongdoing. After the shooting, police who responded to the scene fervently searched for a weapon tied to Jones. No success, the lawsuit says. Nearby surveillance cameras did not fully capture the shooting. Law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation told the Philadelphia Inquirer. Then the officers engaged in a conspiracy to obfuscate the truth and shield Detective Sweeney from criminal liability while assigning the blame to Robert Jones, the complaint asserts. Dead men do no talking. Initially, police created and supported Sweeney's false narrative that the shooting was the result of road rage incident, which Jones was the aggressor. The lawsuit says, further arguing that police manipulated the crime scene so that Sweeney's story that he was protecting himself would withstand scrutiny. The complaint does not provide any examples of such crime scene manipulation. Sweeney, sitting in the driver's seat, then flashed his badge at Jones and yelled at him through the closed window that he was a police officer, the lawsuit says. In January, Tanya McLary, executive director of Philadelphia's Citizen Police Oversight Commission, complained that 4 months after the incident, police still had not provided the watchdog agency access to information that it needed to assess Sweeney's shooting of Jones. Kevin O'Brien, one of Jones's attorneys, acknowledged to the Philadelphia Inquirer that Sweeney may have mistakenly thought that Jones was armed when he opened fire. The lawsuit accuses Sweeney of assault and battery, wrongful death, inflicting severe injuries on Jones prior to his death that caused him severe pain, anxiety, and horror. It accuses 5 unnamed police officers of conspiracy to cover up Sweeney's alleged crimes and names the city of Philadelphia as a co-defendant that managed the police department and employed the officers. Michael Jones seeks a judgment to recover at least $50,000 in damages on behalf of his brother's estate, including damages for wrongful death to be paid to his mother and beneficiary, Sharon Jones, who is and will be deprived of his counsel, services, companionship, and financial support for clothing, food, shelter, medical care, nursing care, custodial care, among other expenses. Also, also seeks at least 150,000 more, reduced to numbers, in compensatory and punitive damages for Jones's physical pain, suffering, emotional distress, and humiliation, and economic losses. It does what lawsuits do. This is the justice system that we are living under. When someone is taken from you, you try to pursue it criminally. After that, it's reduced to money and civil judgments if it gets that far. This is the most appalling, hurtful. If this ever gets to a jury and somebody like me is on it, yes, he was humiliated. Yes, he was in emotional distress. Yes, he was suffering, of course, in physical pain and confusion, and probably had thoughts of his mother, Sharon Jones, and the brother who cares enough to pursue this, lashing in the final moments as he took his last breaths. I don't understand the rush. I understand gangs and mafiosa behavior, and that's what, if any of this is true, we see here. But I don't understand the behavior where another person, Jamie, a human, rushes to defend such merciless, violent act against another human being. All these officers who weren't part of this incident, if this is true, rushed in because a dead man can't talk and perpetrated this.
I mean, as you alluded to, it's mafia mentality. This officer is a danger to the community. We should, for some reason, we have been conditioned to expect the least amount out of the people who are sworn to protect and serve us. We have lowered our standards completely. So now, when we hear stories about how they kill us, these people are public servants. He should have the most discretion when it comes to using his firearm. He should have made positive that the other person was not only armed but was an imminent threat, because that's kind of what the law is. But instead, story after story after story about how often they get somebody sneezes and they interpreted that as a threat, or some kid had a candy bar and they thought it was a gun, and so they discharged a weapon on him. I mean, I can't remember how many times you said he discharged his firearm, but it was more than once. And how many times does it take to neutralize a threat as a trained officer? I think top to bottom, this police department needs to be investigated. But you alluded to, I mean, criminal charges won't be brought, and they're not going to investigate them. Even if they were investigated, it'd be some kind of slap on the wrist. So unfortunately, I think $200,000 is way too small of an ask. I would have asked at least 10 times that if my relative was killed in the midst of trying to be a good Samaritan. No good deed goes unpunished. I can't imagine being in a situation where I see somebody in distress on the side of a road and I go to try to help them, and the response is that I've lost my life. And so now the people who love and depend upon me are now going without me because I was trying to do the right thing. And not only was it just some random person, it was a person who had sworn to protect and serve me. It's tragic, but it's happened before, and it will unfortunately happen again.
Yep. And I'm just going to add this. You shot from inside through the window a man who had on a bright yellow vest, a black man who surely had been black his whole life. And what did he think to do? Let's just compare the two men, one dead, one alive, and accused of this horror. The black man who'd been black his whole life, living with experience after experience, rolled up on the scene, put on the yellow vest, and said, "Let me go help." The other guy sat in the driver's seat of his Subaru truck, shot through the window, and then opened fire some more. and his gang of buddies showed up, rode up on the scene, and tried to make us believe it was just. America, look at your life.